Hello everyone, I welcome you all on my YouTube channel Ekta Rathod Classes, and today we will be doing part 2 of the chapter Motion. So let's move to the first topic of today's session, which is the graphical representation of motion. So here in this chapter we will be studying about two types of graph which are representing the type of motion. Right, the first graph is distance time graph. And the second graph will be a velocity time graph, which we will study later in the session. Right, so let's first move with the distance time graph. Here I have drawn these two graphs, and as we can see that these two graphs are way different from each other. Like the first graph shows the straight line and the second graph is showing somewhat not straight line, right? Which is not straight line. So how these two graphs are different? Let's say this graph which I have drawn for object 1. This object 1 is traveling equal distance in equal interval of time. What? The object 1 is traveling equal distance in equal interval of time. That means this object is moving with a uniform motion, right? We have studied in the uniform motion that an object is moving equal distance in equal interval of time, right? In the second graph, if we take that this is the graph for object 2, then we can say that object 2 is moving with unequal distance in equal interval of time, right? We can say that an object 2 is moving unequal distance in equal interval of time. That means it is moving with non-uniform motion, right? It is moving with non-uniform motion. Right, so these two graphs actually show the two types of different motion. The straight line shows the uniform motion, and the non-straight line shows the non-uniform motion of an object. Right, now let's discuss that the line represented by distance time graph is what? The white line that I am representing with a V. We have already known that V is the symbol for velocity or speed, right? So this line is actually representing velocity or speed of the object, right? If we were given a question, that is, tell us about the distance the velocity between the point P and A. Can we find the velocity between the point A and B? Yes, we can. How? Let's just draw perpendicular from point A and B on both the axes of the graph, right? Let's say if we draw perpendicular on y-axis, which is representing by time, right? So t1 is representing the time on which the object was present at point A, right? And t2 is representing the time by which the object reached point B. And now let's draw the perpendicular on y-axis, which is representing the distance of an object, right? So S1 is the distance for reaching point A and S2 is the distance for reaching point P. Now we simply find the velocity, as we have known that velocity is equals to distance upon time, right? Velocity is equals to distance upon time. So we can say that velocity is equals to S2 minus S1 upon T2 minus T1. Right, from the graph we can find the velocity of an object from this equation. So let's say that this is the new equation for finding the velocity from distance time graph, right? If we were given a question in exam, so we can simply find the velocity from the distance time graph from this equation, right? So this equation is also an important equation that we derive from a uniform motion distance time graph, right? Let's move to another type of graph which is representing the motion, which is velocity time graph, right? So in velocity time graph I have already drawn these two graphs. The first graph, the velocity remains the same throughout the journey of the object, right? In the first graph the velocity remains the same throughout the journey of the object. Right, the time is changing but the velocity is not changing. That means it shows a uniform motion. where the velocity is constant. Where the velocity is constant. In the second graph, the velocity increases with equal amount in equal interval of time. Right? The second graph is showing that velocity increases with equal amount in equal interval of time. That means the second graph is showing a uniform accelerated motion. Right? Because we have discovered that in the uniform accelerated motion, the velocity increases or decreases in equal amount in equal interval of time. The second graph is representing uniform accelerated motion. Right? Now we can also find distance traveled by an object from this velocity time graph. Now let's see if we were given these 2 points on the graph between velocity and time, A and B, and we have to find what is the distance between A and B. For this we have to simply find out the area under the slope of line A and B. What is the area under the slope of line A and B? Right? If we found out the area under the slope of A and B, that means that is the distance of the object travelled from point A to point B. Right? In the same way, if we have to find a distance between these 2 points, we have to simply find the area under the slope. This will give us the distance an object travelling from these 2 points. Right? Okay, now let's move to another very important topic of this chapter. Right? So this is the equation of motion. So there are 3 types of equation of motion. The first is V is equals to U plus AT, which is also called as equation of velocity time relation. And the second equation is S is equals to UT plus half AT square, which is called as equation of position time relation. The third is 2AS is equals to V square minus U square, which is called as equation of position velocity relation. Right? We have to remember the name of the equation as well. Right? So here the V represent the final velocity of an object. Right? We have already discussed these symbols in the previous part of the session, but I also want to tell you in this part as well that U represent the initial velocity of object, T represent the time traveled by an object, okay, A represent the acceleration of an object, S represent the distance traveled by an object. Right? Now let's see how these 3 equations were derived by graphical method. Okay, we have to derive these equations from the graphical method. Let's move with the first equation, which is equation of velocity time relation. This is our first equation, which is V is equals to U plus AT. For deriving this equation, we have to draw a graph between velocity and time, right? Because this graph gives us the slope, which is the acceleration of the object, right? This graph between velocity and time gives us the slope, which is acceleration of the object. Right? Now let's say that the slope AB is the acceleration. Now if we have to find the slope of AB, that means we can find out the acceleration of the object. And for this, we have to draw some perpendiculars on both the x-axis of the graph. Let's say B is drawing perpendicular on point E on y-axis, and also let's draw a perpendicular on x-axis from point B to point C on x-axis, right? And also let's draw a perpendicular from A on line BC at point D, right? Let's say this is the O point, right? In this graph, we can say that if we will find out the slope of AB, that means this will be our acceleration for the object, right? Now let's see what is the slope of the graph. So slope is representing by the x upon y upon x axis, right? So y is representing here as BD. So y is what? The BD, and x is what? A and D, right? X is what? A and D. Now let's see that O is the point from which the object will start moving. So this represents that the A is showing that here the velocity is u, the initial velocity of the object, and at point E the velocity reached to the final velocity, which is v. So let's say that BD can also be written as BC minus DC, right? BD can also be written as BC minus DC, and write AD as it is. Now let's write it again, that A is equals to BC can be represented as V minus, and DC can be, we can say that DC is what? Initial velocity, which is u. And what is AD? AD is the time traveled by an object, right? So this is T. So here's our first equation of motion, but we just have to arrange this equation and reach to the final equation of, which is representing the first equation of motion, which will be AT is equals to V minus U. If we arrange it again, then we will get V is equals to U plus AT, which is our first equation of motion, which is the first equation of motion. Now let's move to the derivation of the second equation of motion, which is equation of position time relation. Now see that if it is position time relation, we have to find the distance traveled between point A and B. This is the same graph, right? This will be the same graph which is drawn between velocity and time. And we have to find out the distance, because the second equation is what? S is equals to half AT square plus UT. This is the second equation of motion. So we simply have to find the distance. And we have already known and discussed it earlier that the area under the slope of graph velocity and time shows that what? The distance, gives us the distance. So let's say the distance is equals to area of, let's say these are the point what? C, and this is the point D, as we have drawn already in the previous derivation. This will be the point E, and this will be O. Here this representing U, the initial velocity, and this will be our final velocity at point E. Right. So distance will be the area of triangle ABD, right? Triangle ABD, and plus the area of the rectangle, which is OCAD, right? Area of triangle ABD plus the area of rectangle, which is AOCD, right? We just simply have to find the area of these the triangle and rectangle, and then we simply get what? The distance. So distance is represented with small s. Then let's write it down, the formula of area of triangle of ABD, which is half into, let's say the height will be BD and the base will be AD, right? Now let's say write the area of the rectangle, which is AOCD, and area of the rectangle will be length into breadth. So let's say length will be OA and breadth will be OC, right? Let's just put the values of these from the graph, which are BD represent V minus U, right? BD represent V minus U, and AD represent the time traveled by an object, whereas OA represent U, the initial velocity, and OC represent the time traveled by the object, right? Now simply let's solve this equation. We have discussed that from the first equation, v upon u, v minus u, v minus u is equals to at, right? So let's just put at here at the place of v minus u and write it down the same equation as it is, right? So s is equals to half at multiplied by t plus ut, right? This is the second equation of motion that we have derived from the graph, which is half at square plus ut, right? This will be our second equation of motion. Now let's move to our third equation of motion. Simply here also says the equation of position. That means we have to find the distance covered by the object from point A and B. Let's make the same graph here again. Same graph between the velocity and time. We already have discussed that the area under the slope gives us the distance. The third equation is what? The third equation is 2as is equals to v square minus u square, right? This is the third equation of motion. And for this, we just simply have to find the area of the trapezium. Trapezium, which is OA, B and C. OA and B and C, right? So let's find out the distance between A and B is equals to the area of trapezium which is OABC, right? So distance is represented by small s and area of trapezium is always half into height, which is OC, and sum of the parallel sides, right? Sum of the parallel sides, which are OA plus B and C, right? Let's just put the values here. Half OC will be representing by T multiplied by OA is representing U and BC is representing V, right? Let's replace the value of T here. Now from equation first, we have known that AT plus U is equals to V, right? Let's say that T is equals to V minus U upon A. Put this value of T in the equation. Now what we get is half V minus U upon A multiplied by U plus V. If we can just solve this equation, so we will find out that S is equals to V square minus U square upon A. Now let's arrange this equation and we will get the third equation of motion, which is 2as is equals to V square minus U square, right? So this will be our third equation of motion. Okay, now let's move to the last topic of the chapter, which is uniform acceleration motion. Now what is uniform acceleration motion? If an object moves in a circular path with a uniform speed, that means with a constant speed, its motion is called as uniform circular motion, right? Now let's say that this is the circular path which has the radius r from the center. Now let's say that object is moving from this point and covers the whole circular path and reaches again to the initial point. Now if we have to find the distance traveled by an object is what? Distance will be the circumference of the circle, right? Circumference of the circle, which is 2 pi r, right? If you have to simply find the distance of the object traveling in a circular path, which is equals to the circumference of the circle, which is finally equals to the 2 pi r, right? Now let's say for finding the speed by an object, speed of the object, which is equals to the distance upon time, right? Distance upon time is equals to speed. So distance is covered by the object is 2 pi r and here the time is t. So speed of the object in the circular motion is equals to the 2 pi r upon t, right? So this will be our speed for an object moving with a uniform speed in a circular path, right? So this will be our last topic for the chapter motion. So this is it for today's session, and we will be doing more numericals related to the topic that we have studied today in the next session. So thank you for watching till now.